I recorded my cheating wife and threw her stuff on her lover's doorstep, Reddit cheating stories. It all started with a gut feeling, a quiet whisper in the back of my mind that wouldn't go away. You know that instinct that tells you something is off, even when everything looks normal on the surface. That's what I felt every time my wife, Emily, smiled at me lately. Her laugh was the same, her tone unchanged, but her eyes, they told a different story. For years, Emily and I had what I thought was a solid marriage. We met in college, built our first home together, and even weathered financial storms side by side. I loved her with every fiber of my being. But over the past few months, she started pulling away, spending late nights, at work, guarding her phone like it held state secrets, and losing interest in the small things that used to make us, us. At first, I tried to rationalize it. She's stressed. She's tired. Maybe I'm just being paranoid. But when she came home one night smelling faintly of cologne that wasn't mine and her lipstick slightly smudged, my heart began to break in silence. That night, I lay awake staring at the ceiling, her soft breathing beside me, wondering if the woman I fell in love with was already gone. The next morning, I decided to find out the truth. I installed a discreet camera in our living room, one of those motion-activated ones you can link to your phone. I felt guilty for doing it, but the pain of not knowing was worse than any guilt I could feel. Days went by with nothing unusual, until one Thursday afternoon, while I was supposed to be at work. My phone pinged. The motion alert. My hands trembled as I opened the app. The live feed showed Emily, walking in with another man. He was tall, confident, maybe in his late 30s. I watched in disbelief as she giggled, kissed him like she used to kiss me, and led him to our couch, the same couch we bought together after years of saving. My world shattered in seconds. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat there, numb, watching the woman I'd built my life around betray me in my own home. I recorded everything, their laughter, their whispers, the betrayal in high definition. When she came home later that night, she was her usual self, pretending nothing had happened. She kissed me on the cheek, said she was exhausted, and went straight to bed. I looked at her, and for the first time, I didn't see my wife. I saw a stranger. That night, I made my plan. The next morning, I woke up early, went to the living room, and began packing her things, clothes, shoes, makeup, even her favorite coffee mug. I placed everything neatly into boxes and loaded them into my truck. Before leaving, I printed a still frame from the video, a moment of her and her lover kissing, and taped it to the mirror in our bedroom. I wanted her to see the reflection of what she'd become. Then I drove. The address wasn't hard to find. I'd seen it on her GPS once when she borrowed my car and forgot to clear the history. I parked outside a modest-looking apartment complex and recognized the same man from the video walking out toward his car. The audacity in his face, the smirk when he saw me, nearly set me off, but I kept my cool. I got out, unloaded the boxes, and placed them neatly on his doorstep. Then I pulled out a small USB drive, the recording, and set it right on top. "Your mess now," I said quietly before driving away. When Emily called me later that afternoon, her voice was frantic. "Where's my stuff? Why did you?" "I think you should ask him," I interrupted coldly. "Check his doorstep." There was a long silence on the line. Then, just the sound of her quiet sobs before she hung up. For days, she tried to contact me, texts, calls, even showing up at my workplace. But I refused to engage. I'd given her my trust, my loyalty, and my love. She'd given all that away for a thrill. Eventually, I filed for divorce. The video evidence made the process swift. There was no fight left in her, no excuses she could make. The truth had already spoken for itself. The first few weeks alone were hard. The house felt emptier than ever, every corner echoing with memories I wished I could forget. I struggled with anger, betrayal, and the haunting question of why. But as time passed, something unexpected happened. I started to heal. I realized that her betrayal didn't define my worth. Her choices were hers alone, and I refused to let them destroy who I was. I took up running, reconnected with old friends, and started traveling again, something I'd stopped doing because Emily never wanted to. Months later, I saw her by chance at a grocery store. She looked smaller somehow, drained, as if life had caught up with her lies. She tried to smile at me, maybe hoping for forgiveness, but I simply nodded and walked away. In that moment, I understood what closure really was. It wasn't about revenge or making her feel pain. It was about reclaiming my peace, my dignity, and my strength. Sometimes, the hardest betrayals become the greatest teachers. They show us who we really are when everything we loved falls apart. And as I drove home that evening, windows down, the sun setting behind me, I realized something powerful. I hadn't just recorded my wife's betrayal. I'd recorded the moment I was reborn.